Um,
Exactly.
yes,
Okay, I'm
but
recording right now. You know what happened? The recording wasn't on. So let me just repeat again. So
sure.
my name is Angeline Constantino. So sorry. We had some technical difficulties this morning with StreamYard. So my name is Angeline. I am the founder, podcaster of Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. And we help women regain their power after domestic abuse. Okay. And we help them take their life back. So I have here with me Alli MacDonald, and she is an author. She's a grandma. She's a mompreneur. You're still a full-time nurse, correct?
no, I was tracking nursing, but
Oh,
um,
good.
yeah,
So
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but
So I know you're doing. You know what? I just want to say this, everyone. Alli's doing amazing things, and I've seen a transformation, from Alli. So I'm really, really super excited that Alli is here with us. So if just one thing, please subscribe to my podcast, Let's Break the Silence with Angeline. We're actually launching our 22nd episode today. So you can find me on Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and all the live streaming platforms. So, Alli, let's
yeah.
talk about your story about how you came out of domestic violence, because you've been, thriving after domestic violence. So, what happened? Tell us your story, please.
Okay, so my story begins when I was 5. I was brought up in a domestic violence home by a family member, and so that continued until I was 13. And so when I started dating, I didn't have the right values that or the right identity that I needed to choose good mates or good people to, match up with.
Right.
And so I always got caught up with the wrong people, people that would mistreat me. The same, I would fall right back in the same cycle. So I was like, until I figured it out, like, what's going on? I want someone that's going to treat me even better than what I've had. So why do I keep getting these people that treat me wrong? So anyway, I did meet someone. I had like a soulmate, and he passed away with liver cancer, and so I was just heartbroken. I was just like still in mourning, grieving, and then I ended up meeting up with this guy that was part of the family. I had always had a crush on him, and then he had told me that he thought I was out of his league and all this, but he helped me kind of get through. He listened to me, like, talked about Danny. He listened, to my grief. And I thought, wow, if he's willing to listen to all of this, he must be some kind of guy, right? Well, which is funny because his name was Guy. But anyway,
Right.
yes. So um, lo and behold, he treats me like a queen at first, right? Treats me like a queen. And then all of a sudden the tables turn really quick. And so now he's like really possessive, doesn't want me to talk to my friends. He wants to know where I am all the time, always texting me, like, he started stalking me, scaring me right to death. And then what came down to finally where I had gone out with my friend, a really good friend I've had for 19 years now. And I don't usually, I didn't usually go out because, I was afraid of what he would do. So, but I did happen to go out with her this night. It was a Halloween night. She said, I got a party. Come on, let's, get out. You need to get out. And of course, no one knew anything was going on, right? Because you don't talk about it, and because you don't think they're going to understand.
True.
So I got dressed up and we went out and had a really good time. And I came back, and he was working, so I figured, well, he'll never know, right? But he had his ways, and I tell you, he found out that I was gone, and that I had dressed up, gone out, and that night he said that he was going to make sure that nobody else wanted me, that he was going to ruin everything. And so he was pretty rough on me. And the next morning I'm just like, what happened? What did I do wrong? You're thinking it's all you, and it's not. It's them. And so I think it was like the next week after that, my friend who I gone out with, she contacted me again. She goes, Allie, because I really want to see you. I don't see you much. And so then at this point he had taken my phone, because he's like, she keeps calling you. She's like, she needs to stop calling you. And so he's like, he didn't just take it. It was like, he said, he was very casual. I mean, very convincing about it. He said, you know what, we really don't need two phones. Let's just use my phone, and we'll use, we'll cut down on bills or whatever. He made it sound like logical. And so I did that, because like Jessica was saying when you interviewed her, like you'll do anything for them. You'll do anything to please them. And the more you please them, the more they're going to take advantage, And so then I so Jessica, I found out she was trying to get a hold of me, my other friend Jessica, and so I went up to my nephew's house, which was like 2 houses down, and I went to use their phone so I could call Jessica back. And he found out about that because they told on me. Your family sometimes are not your best friends to
That's
to
true.
fight.
I agree.
So, yeah. So then I went back to the trailer where we were living, and he says, I heard you tried to contact Jessica. I said, yeah. I said, she's my friend. She was worried about me. She was concerned about me. And, I had every right, but I didn't say that, but that's what I was telling him, I'm like, I was starting to stick up for myself, starting to try to defend myself. And he said, well, I'm going to make sure she is 6 feet in the ground. He said, I am going to make sure that her kids know that their mom is no longer existing. And he had me so scared that, yeah, he had me so scared. And he left for work, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh my God, I'm like, I don't want anything to happen to Jessica, and I knew that he was well capable because he's hurt me before. And, I know he wasn't just talking the talk. So he was also in a motorcycle gang. He was also in a motorcycle, I say gang, but it was a club. You say club,
Right.
But he had his buddies, he would do things for him and stuff like that, things that, decent people don't do. So, so I called the police, and I told them, what he had said. And they said, that's a threat to kill another person. That's a threat to, to another person's life. They said, we need to arrest him. And I'm like, oh my God, now he's going to be arrested. Now he's going to be, retaliating after me. I was like, always so scared. And I have to stop like right here for a minute. But all through this time, Angeline, I didn't have any friends. Like Jessica said, he isolated me. And so the only friends that I had was the show Friends. I would watch that for comfort. So I have my Friends shirt on today.
Oh, one of my favorite shows.
Yes. And I had told Matt LeBlanc in a comment on his page, because he said that a lot of people walk up to him and tell him like that Friends was meant so much more to them for a reason. And I go, that's me. I said, I am that one person. But to get back to my story, so I'm like watching Friends, right? I'm watching Friends. I'm like, and I'm scared to death because I don't know if he's going to come back and retaliate on me. And so I said, well, I got to call my brother. I got to text my brother, call him, let him know what's going on. I said, I have to go back out to my nephew's trailer, and I got to try to see if I can use their phone, and then them not tell on me, right? So I'm like, I'm waiting for the time where I could go where I knew someone would be there that wouldn't tell on me. So I went up there, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta call my brother. And they're like, okay, you know, do that. So I call my brother and I just tell him, you know, it's dire straits. I mean, he just got arrested. He's been, you know, hurting me, just threatened to kill my friend. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm coming right down. I'm coming right down. So he came down he said, you got to leave now. He says, you got to leave now. If you don't, he says, he's going to kill you. So he came down and he says, get everything you can get together and you're gone tonight. So I was grabbing everything I could. And then he got there and I had a cat, Tigger. And then I had some fish and I said, well, I don't know how Tigger will be in the cage. He says, no, he says, leave the cat, leave the fish. He says, Allie, you got to think of yourself. We need to leave now. So I had to leave everything behind. We only had like 1 month left on the trailer to pay and we would have owned it. You know, I'm thinking about all this stuff, you know, and plus I had to get rid of I had just bought a Kia. I had to get rid of that because it had vehicle issues and the landlord said I couldn't leave it there. You know, or he'd tow it and then I'd have to pay the bill. So I'm like, I said, I gotta deal with this later. I can't deal with this right now. So I ended up repossessing the vehicle because I didn't know what to do. So long story short, I had my brother that came to my aid. I had another friend that came to my aid later, and my church is very supportive. I know some churches aren't supportive of women with domestic abuse, but my church was. My church
was too, actually.
Yes. And so when I hear that churches are not supportive, I just can't believe that. But the only reason why I think that they're not is because they don't understand. They're afraid. You know, a lot of people like your friends are afraid to take action because, you know, they don't want that person coming after them or their family. And that's understandable, right? But you do, I mean, if there's someone that you can help, like, you know, Jessica Haynes, she's like a beautiful person that she's come out of it and she wants to help others. I mean, if you can at all, I mean, please do, because I mean, that you don't know what that person's going through. She's going through like a nightmare. And like, all I could think of this whole time was like, this is like a Stephen King movie that I'm living, and I don't even know how I got here, you know? And so, so that was pretty much it. Well, actually, then there was the court hearing. And so I go to the court hearing. Well, I actually ended up, my brother took me to a, one of the domestic violence help centers.
Yes.
And yes. And so they were telling me, you know, we sat in a group and there's other women there and telling their story, and we all support each other, like, you know, because we had to get all the feelings out, like, again, like, what did I do wrong? Nothing. You didn't do anything wrong. You feel guilty. You feel like, oh my God, you know, why did he treat me that way? It must have been something I done. No, it's nothing you did. It's just the way they have this, like, they have learned this behavior, and he had it down, I tell you. And so we're, you know, we're just gathering our thoughts and supporting one another. And then they told me like how to prepare for court. And so I went to court that day to see if I get a protection order. And I show up, and there's the security guard that stands out by the court. And he said, well, I'm glad you made it. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, there was another lady who she had been domestically abused by her ex-husband, and she came to come to the court, and the ex-husband followed her, but she didn't know it, and he knew exactly how the layout of the building was. So he went and had, like, where there was no cameras, came up behind her and killed her before she got into the court hearing.
What?
Yeah, shot her before. Yep. And I was like, oh my God, you know?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't believe.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, I'm saying domestic violence is that just what it's called, you know, and it's like, it's nothing to like belittle the the woman for. I know a lot there's men too that are domestically abused, and
True.
you know, and we want to reach out to them as well. Um, and that's why I want to mention our helping others achieve and break free
Good.
group.
Yes.
Yes, we have that on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger. So if anyone's listening and you want to break free, we're embarking on a film project as well, to get the word out and to make awareness and educate the people that don't know about domestic abuse and how to help. So one little myth is that, well, the woman's stupid to get into the situation in the first place. I heard that when I was going through my stuff, and I'm like, what? You know? And like Jessica said, it's like, no, women are treated this way because we're strong and we're empowered, and they know it and they don't want it. They want to
Exactly.
control us. Yes. And so, yeah. So with that said, that's pretty much my story. So since then, I mean, it's like Jessica said too, it's like that girl is gone, you know, that girl is like no more. Cause like as soon as I realized and I woke up and I realized, you know, wow, you know, I was playing like the little mouse when I'm really, really strong and empowering woman, you know? And so I'm like, wow, he was holding me back, you know, he was holding me back
See?
from,
See that?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was
So
holding you back for too long.
yeah, yeah,
And I'm
exactly.
glad you took action. I'm very,
Yeah.
very proud of you because I've seen a huge transformation. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to the film because
Yes.
we're all going to be in the film, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
It all starts. So I just want to actually, we have some people joining us on the live. I can't read the comments here,
I
but
can't
I
either.
want to thank Jackie Stockdale. She
Mhm.
is tuning live from the United Kingdom. So
Ooh.
I just
Mhm.
want to read some comments, okay? That
Sure.
she said, Allie is brave and it is very hard and you did the right thing. The groups are amazing. And I joined a group myself, a
Yes.
group of domestic violence survivors. So, you know,
Awesome.
and I also had a caseworker during, you know, during my divorce proceedings, I had a caseworker. So I hired a really, really good attorney. So, but you are very brave
Thank you.
because what you went through, wow.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so, you know, a lot of people have come up to me and said, "Allie, through all that you've been through, it's like, how do you keep smiling? How do you keep that positive attitude?" And I was
How do you
thinking
do
about
that?
that.
Right.
Yeah, I just reflected back, and I'm like, it's really I contributed all to God because, um, you know, He gave me that positive attitude from the get go, from the time I was born, I guess, because I mean, I definitely needed it to get through, and I don't know where I'd be without my positive attitude and without Him by my side every day. And you know, it's just, um, you know, it's just the fact that you know, you can break free. That's the whole message in the story. Just you can break free. And sometimes you get so stuck in the moment, you're like, oh my God, how am I ever going to get out of this? I can't, you know. And I know even one of his family members had said, because he knew that he had this cycle because of just mistreating women. And
Mm.
so, you know, if he ever hurts you, he said this, you know, like when he was around, if he ever hurts you, you call me, okay? And so I was thinking of calling him when it happened, but he was like living like so far away, and I didn't want to leave my family. And not only that, but I talked to my counselor, and she said, Allie, she's, I wouldn't call him because family is thicker than blood, if you know what I mean. So even though he said that, when it comes right down to it, he may not help you. And so I'm like, okay, I won't call him then. And I ended up calling my brother, and yeah, and that all worked out. But now it's like, you know, a whole different life. I mean, even the abuse that I had as a child, it's like, wow, I feel sorry for that child. I feel sorry for her. I feel nothing but grief for her. But and I actually worked through this meditation one time with my other friend Jess, and it takes you through back to when you were a child, and what would you say to that child? And I tell you, Angeline, tears just came strolling down my face, and I said I would tell her that she's very strong. And so yeah, she was very strong. I was very strong as a child, strong now, strong will, like we
Strong
all
willed,
are.
right?
Yes. And and we're just going to go for the stars. We're just going to go for it. Mhm.
That's it. That's it. And
Mhm.
you're very brave, and you have a dream and a vision, and your past does not define you.
That's right.
Okay.
Right.
You and I
And
are on, you and I are on the same page.
yeah,
Do not let your past define you. Okay. And
right.
I just want to go through some of the comments here because Jackie wrote a whole bunch of comments. She said the groups are amazing. Never ever think that beautiful. Oh my God, that's awful. That was talking about the court. Domestic abuse, I prefer to say as not always violence. Speaking for myself, mine was verbal. I was
Mm,
hit once. I was hit once and my nose was broken and I had to go for reconstructive nose surgery 3 days
mm,
later. And it was awful because
mm,
he took me from behind. He grabbed my neck from behind and he threw me against the wall. This happened at 10 p.m. at night. The worst violence that happens is in the
at
evenings.
night. Yep.
It's not during the day. During the
No, no.
day,
Because
yeah.
everybody's around, you can see. Yep. That was
Yeah,
my
it
sister.
happens in the
Mhm.
evenings,
Yep.
it happens in
Exactly.
the evening. So
Mhm.
that was the beginning of the end. But, I still, stayed in that. I stayed in the marriage, because I was fearful. Fear
Mhm.
is huge. So,
Yes.
yeah, why don't we talk about that? Because,
Mhm.
fear prevents a lot of women from leaving their spouses or their significant others if they're not married.
Mhm.
So maybe you could talk about that and,
Yeah,
because
actually, I
that's
wanted.
huge. That's huge because they're afraid if they have children, then yeah, that plays a
This is
role too. So
yes.
you had
Mhm.
children, correct?
I have one child, yes, and
Okay.
he was involved in that, and I'm not going to go too much there. I'm not going to go there because yeah, there's some things that I'll take to my grave, Angeline. So but
Yeah.
to protect the innocent. But yeah, when you have kids, and he wasn't small, thank God. But if you have small kids, oh my gosh, it's even that much harder. And just think of those kids. I can't imagine those kids. Like I said, I was raised in a domestic violence home, but no one knew it. No one, not even our family, knew it. Um,
Right.
there would be times when um, my mom and my dad would be fighting. It would be like midwinter. We would have to go out and stay outside in the cold with no coats or anything like that until they got done fighting. And then we could go back in when everything was okay. And this became a norm.
Wow.
And yeah, and so then at 13, at the age of 13, my mom by this time was in what they call AMHI is called here, is a mental institution, because my dad had done so much to her, to
Sorry.
us. And so what really brought her down was that the fact that when they got divorced, and it was him that wanted the divorce after 40 years, he found someone else at a bar. And yeah, and so at the divorce, it all came out as three girls. We told my mom that he'd been sexually abusing us. And
Oh my God.
yeah, and so my mom just lost her mind. You can imagine, nervous breakdown. And plus my brother, which he to this day does not believe that this happened, which I totally respect that. He sees my father as a whole different man. He took him hunting. He's the guy that was the funny guy. He was very humorous. He was very, very charming. I see that other side of my dad too. I still love my dad because they go, how can you do that if he abused you? Because you always crave for that love. You always crave for that love, and you always want the same thing that all your other friends had from their dad. A healthy relationship. You always want that. And I have written a book. I haven't published it yet, but I will. And it's about my story with my dad growing up, and
Wow.
I'm just waiting for that day because like I said, I'm trying to protect my family. I don't want, my brother's image of my father ruined. And but when my dad ended up having lung cancer, and when he was in the hospital, um, uh, he'd asked my brother to tell me that he wanted to talk to me, and he cleared everybody out of the room. He said, "I want to talk to Allie alone." Well, actually, back then my legal name was Alice, and so I want to talk to Alice alone. And that's the other thing too. I changed my name because I didn't want anything to do with my past. So
Okay,
I
okay,
haven't changed it legally, but I changed it just for me, nickname. So
right.
I went in and I go, "What do you want to talk about, Dad?" And he said, "I want to say I'm sorry. I want to say I'm sorry for everything." He says, "And I think I'm going to go to hell." He says, "Because of what I've done. I'm a bad boy." And
Wow.
I said, "No, Dad." I said, "You're not going to hell." I said, "You said you were saved, right?" He said, he was Catholic. He said, and you said you were saved, right? As a young boy, he said, "Yeah." I said, "Then once you're saved, you're always saved." Because I am. I go, "Yeah." And then he raised his arms up really high, Angeline, and he said, "Hallelujah." First good word I heard out my dad's word out of his mouth. But um, then the nurse came in just as he did that, and she said, "Oh my God." And I said, "What's the matter?" She goes, "There's no way possible physically that he can do that." I said, "What do you mean?" She
Wow.
said, "He's on so much morphine. There's no way he can raise his arms."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I knew, and then he had that doubt on his face, like, am I really like? And he kept going back and forth. And I said, "Dad, every time you have that thought, you look at me, and I'll just shake my head." And then after that, he was like, just a few minutes after that, he had this confidence that he was saved. And then it was not long after that, maybe a half an hour after that, he decided he wanted to be taken off life support. But that was the hardest part, I think, Angeline, for me, was
Mm,
I just broke down, and I went into what they call that when you hyperventilating. I started hyperventilating, and because my brother came down and told me I was down to the lounge, and
wow.
said, "Dad wants to cut his life support." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So, I just
Wow.
hyperventilating. My brother had to help me. He's like, "Breathe, breathe, breathe," and he's like, "I'll get you some water," And but yeah, so it was hard, all the way around. I think it was hard with my mom when I lost her, because she was our rock. She died at 50 with breast
Yeah,
cancer.
your mom is your rock. I know how you feel because my mom passed away 4 years ago. So,
Yeah, so
yeah,
sorry. Yeah, but I think it was harder with my dad when he passed because there was so much history, so much, baggage, and but with my mom, when she went into the mental institution, she was treated, oh my God, horribly, Angeline, back then, before they, now they have, they're better treated, but
right.
she was put in a isolation cell because she was a danger to herself, because she tried to commit suicide. Um, and I just couldn't imagine my mother being there. I mean, my mother was like I'll leave it to Beaver, June Cleaver kind of, woman,
Right.
That's why my dad went after someone at the bar, because, I say bar tramp, but she ended up being my stepmother. But I still, to this day, I um, I never really cared for her.
Mhm.
She she just used me as like a housekeeper. Um, and then she did find out that about my dad, and what he had done to us girls. We told her, but she said if he ever touched her girls, then she would report him, but she never reported him for us. So yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, then she had just passed this year, and she had talked to us. Oh my gosh, we hadn't seen her, I had done anything with her for years. And then she wanted to friend request me on Facebook, and I'm like, I talked to my brother, I'm like, no way. I'm like, if she didn't care about us all these years, why would she want to have contact now? No. And
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
like, and before Angeline, I had heard about all this. Like, I used to do hospice too. I've heard about all these stories where the person's dying and wants to have contact with his son for the last time or daughter, and they don't come because there's just so much baggage. And I never understood it before. I'm like, how can they be so like, heartless? But no, I understand it now. I
Oh,
understand.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure,
So,
sure.
but yeah, I just want to say what you were talking about the fear. Okay, so before I left him, this is now things are starting to come out. Like the church was starting to see the red flags and everything. And so I went to the store one day, and someone that I knew came up to me and said, why don't you just leave him? And I said, that would be so easy to do if I didn't love him. And they go, oh, you know, they got it, because when you, like I said, you do everything under the sun for them, and you think, oh, maybe I can change them, maybe if I
Right,
just change them, then everything will be all right, you know. But you can't change them. You have to change yourself. You have to say,
exactly,
okay,
exactly, I
I'm
was
not,
just gonna say,
I'm not, I'm more than this. I am worthy of more than this. And I am not taking this, and I'm not standing up. I'm not taking any of this, and I'm standing up for myself, and doing what I need to do and moving on in my life. And that's exactly what I did. Mm.
I'm glad you moved on with your life. I
Yes,
am
me too.
really, really happy. It takes that leap of faith,
It does.
it's that leap of faith. And, you wake up one morning like myself, I woke up with an epiphany that I wanted a better life for myself because
Yep.
I deserve more.
Right.
And no matter how much it costs to divorce my ex, I paid $10,500 to my attorney. That's what it took.
Yeah, whatever it takes, right? Whatever it takes to break that bond, just like get that person as far away as you can
Yeah.
from you. Yeah. You
That's
stay there.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Alli, tell us about your new journey with the film. So what are your goals?
Okay, so that's a good question because Jessica was asking me that too.
Good.
So yeah, I've got to get back to Saeed and
Right.
the one that's in the filming. And so like right now it's kind of like so much is going on. Like I'm so busy, and trying to keep it all together. But
You do
yeah,
a good
so
job.
thank you. So I think we're gonna start going into the fundraising part, but there's certain criteria and stuff that is needed to do that. So
Right.
that's where I got to get back with him and say, okay, exactly what do we need to do next? Because I know Jessica is like all for it. Let's go. We're so
Oh, I
excited
know,
about
me
the
too.
vision.
Tara too.
Yeah,
We're all for it. We're all
yeah,
for it. So
and it's like we've got a great group and of supporters, and that's what we really need. Need support when you're going through things like this. And so basically, to answer your question, yeah, I got to get back to him, see what next steps we need to take, and I will be letting everyone know on the group once I find out. And yeah, but I told Jessica, I said my vision for this film is just as exciting as the day that I thought of it, and that was a year ago. And the thing that really brought it to life was when I saw Jay Chanel Schmidt give her testimony. And I've also invited her, but she's so busy with her animals. She
right,
hasn't
right.
she hasn't hopped on yet. But I was like, oh my gosh, yes, we got to get this out because there's so many women out there and men that we don't even know about, but if we start talking about it, then more doors will open up. More women will like, okay, if they're feeling okay, comfortable to talk about it, I can talk about it. And we need to get this awareness out so that people will know this is a hot topic. This is something that needs to be addressed, just like abortion, just like gay rights, just like anything else. We need to be addressed. We need to be able to educate people, like I said, educate them and knowing that no, the woman's not stupid for being in that situation. Because like I said, you don't know going in, you think you've got the perfect person, you
Right.
go in, you're happy, everything's go lucky, and then the tables turn, and it's like, you got this mess on your hands and you don't know what to do. And that's the most important thing, is to have that support, because support around you. So the best thing people can do is come to your aid and be there and know the right things to say. You know, not that you're stupid, but that, you know,
Right.
everything's going to be okay. You know, we're going to get you help. We're going to, you know, call this, you know, violence group. We're going to get you, you know, the help you need. We're going to get you out of here. These are the things you need to hear. You know, how can we help you? Can we support you? Do you need financial income for a little while? You know, we can figure this out. We can go to the town, get some assistance. You know, these are the things you need to hear. So yeah, this is what I want to get out. I want to educate people more on how to help others. And because, you know, even if you're not going through it, you may be a neighbor, you may be someone like in the family that wants to help. I've come across that too. Even my accountant, she's like, I went to my accountant one day and she knew my story because that's how I ended up going to my accountant, was through him. And she said, you know, Alli, she goes, my daughter's going through this right now. What can you tell me? How can I help her? You know, and I was able to tell her how to help, you know, and that's all we want to do. That's all we want to get out. We want to get out the fact that we want to help women who are going through it to know that they can break through and
Exactly.
yes, and have a better life. And we want to also educate the people who want to help and let them know what they can do to help. So
Good. That's great. That's great. Well, you are a remarkable superwoman, Alli.
and I forgot to tell you, I also professionally clown, although I haven't done that for a while.
Model, right?
A model for Snazzy Gal Boutique for Jessica.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
I professionally clown.
See that? See that? So you're a woman entrepreneur, and yeah, your company is truly amazing. I've seen your posts, and I've seen, you know,
Thank you.
Jessica and Tara. You know, you're remarkable women. You
Well, thank
found
you.
your true calling. You
Oh,
know,
thank you.
and
Yes.
sometimes it takes. This is what it takes. I mean, I know for myself, it's the
Mhm.
struggle. Okay,
Yes.
your struggles lead to strength.
That's right.
Because you know what it is, when you reach rock bottom, it kind of forces yourself to dig deep within yourself and, you know, rediscover yourself. What do I really want to do now? Because being stuck in an abusive relationship is not the answer. It's not going to get you where you want to be. You have to learn to love yourself.
Exactly.
So once you break free, you know, rediscover, you know, then it comes time to rediscover yourself and find your true calling in life. And you're doing that.
Yes,
You're doing
exactly.
that. And I really, really, really commend you for that. You know, I just want to read something that Jackie wrote.
Okay.
Young girls should be warned about things like love bombing. I agree. Because I see more and more young girls 18 and over. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Struggling.
I mean, yeah. Like especially now, I see. This is the one thing, and I could tell Jessica the video. But she had mentioned the other day, you know, like I'm getting a lot more sales now that I'm putting my makeup on. But yeah, but for me, I haven't gone into a lot of stuff, and which is in my book, but even after my dad abused me, I still had another schoolmate abuse me as well.
Oh no.
Yes, and I was raped by a preacher that I went to for help. So I at that time I had makeup on, and I felt that that's what I was doing. I was attracting these men to me by putting on, you know, I was high maintenance. I was putting on the makeup. I was dressed to the kilt, and I stopped doing that because for a long time because I was like, oh, I don't want to attract that, you know.
No, you don't. You don't.
And again, it was like that. Those old feelings would come back. It's me doing something wrong. This is what I'm doing wrong. I'm dressing up. You know, I'm attracting these men to me that I don't want. So for me, I would love to, you know, look all snazzy and gorgeous, but it's just
I hear something fun.
Yeah, it's that old fear, that old feeling that comes to me like, oh, you know, don't do that because then, you know, but no, it's a whole different chapter now. It's a whole different life. And but these are just things that you have to work through, and that's one of my, one last thing I get to work through. But I've done good, other than that, I'm just sailing along.
Sailing
So
along. There you go.
sailing along. Yeah.
That's great. Your story is very, very powerful, and you've already made an impact on women's lives. So we're coming up to the top of the hour now. So let's close with some closing remarks. So
Sure.
yeah, some advice that you want to give out there, any closing remarks that's going to empower women and men too, because it is yeah, this is something, like with domestic violence for myself, this
Mhm.
needs to be addressed more. And we
Right,
just need to
exactly.
break the silence. And that's why I'm glad that you wanted to be, interviewed today on my platform, because
Thank you so much.
this is going to be very powerful. So I can't wait until, this is uploaded and everything. So go ahead,
Yeah.
closing remarks.
Okay, so if there are men who are going through domestic abuse and they're watching this right now, then please hop on to our helping others achieve and break through Facebook Messenger group, because we really want you to be part of this film, not for the drama. We're not about that at all. We're to help you, and if you need support, we're here. Men are not going to talk out as much as women because they're very prideful. This is the way they're built. And they're like, no one's going to understand it. It's even worse for them than it is women, because women think, oh, no one's going to understand. Like I said, I was thinking no one's going to understand. But men think it even more, worse. It's even worse for them that no one's going to understand how does a man get beat up on because men are supposed to be strong. Well, honey, some women are strong. Some
Right.
women, like we're strong and empowered, like we're talking about, and we go the wrong way with that, then and a man's in their way, wow, the same thing's going to happen. That woman's going to try to control that man.
That's right.
And so if it's verbal, like you said, if it's verbal, physical, I don't care what it is, if you're being mistreated, you're being mistreated. And so you need to, reach out to us. We can get you the help that you need, because we've been there, we've done that, been through it. There's so many of us, and we all get different stories. We all have different avenues of how we can help you. And for women, just especially with the small children, you need to get out. That's my best advice. You need to get out, and don't wait. Get out today. Don't wait for that next hit. Don't wait for the children to be hurt anymore. Get out. Do whatever it takes. Grab those children. You got a car, get in that car, and don't look back. Grab what you can get, and and then just think as you go. Like that's what I had to do. I had to think as I went, and everything fell into place, because the universe is going to help you, because the universe doesn't even want you to be there. Okay, they don't want, nobody wants you to be mistreated.
Exactly.
Exactly. You don't have to sit there in hell, is what it is. You don't have to sit there and take that. You don't have to be succumb to that. So get your support. If you don't have any support, just go. Just get out. And like I said, I had to leave my cat, I had to leave my fish. Do whatever. You come first. Your first priority, you and your children. So seek help. Like I said, I saw it through the church. If your church is a good, helpful church, then grab whatever help you can get. Go to your local domestic violence group, shelter. You may not have to stay there, but if you need a place to stay, hopefully they'll have a place for you. If they don't, they'll be able to tell you where you can go. So it's that, it sounds so easy for us now. I know it's hard to think, even you can't even function when you're in that situation, but just take these little few tips and just say, okay, one step at a time. So now I need to gather the children, I need to get what they need, and just do it while, if he's out working. This is what I used to do. You got to sneak it in, right? So when he's out working, just grab a little bit and hide it in the closet or something. And
There you
then
go. There you go.
when you get it all together, grab them and go,
And let the authorities know. Actually, in my case,
Yep.
always work with the authorities. Now, in my case, I worked with the New York State Police, the Sheriff's Office in Dutchess County. That's where I used to live. And, my case manager and my attorney, but always let the authorities know where you're going at all times.
Mhm.
Because they'll
Yeah.
work with you. If you rescind the protective order, they will not work with you.
Right.
So make sure that you have everything in place, I know you did, and
Mhm.
make a plan.
Yes. And even after my first court hearing, the judge was right. He knew, I mean, because you could see right through him. You could see,
Oh,
like I said, he had it down, and he had every behavior to abuser. And he's like, I'm granting it. We don't even need to continue this. We're granting her the protection order. Done. And so he goes, and he looks at me, he goes, I hope you're getting far away from this guy. And I said, I am. I'm planning to go to Atlanta, Georgia, and which I did for like 9 days. And he's like, good. He's like, and stay there. He's like, don't ever come back. And he's like, you need a new life, lady, and you deserve it. And he was like right on. He was like right on with me. And so after that, I did come back, but then I asked for another protection order, and I get it like boom automatically. So yeah.
Good. That's good. Well, Alli, thank you so much for joining us today. You're doing great things, and very, very proud of you. And I'm looking forward to working together on the film as well.
Yes,
So
I
for
am
those
too.
of you who are tuning in on the replay on my Let's Break the Silence Facebook fan page, just let me know by hashtagging replay. And I want to thank everyone for taking, Alli, I want to thank you for taking the time from your busy schedule to join us today, because I know you have a lot going on, a lot of great things going on. And thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing your story, because your story is going to make an impact on a lot of people's lives. So, ladies and gentlemen, okay, so we're going to wrap up this broadcast right now. So please stay tuned. This episode will be uploaded next week, okay? And please like and subscribe to my podcast on Anchor FM at Let's Break the Silence at letsbreakthesilence.com. And on my website, you can find some resources there as well. So please like and subscribe to my podcast. Please follow me on Google, Apple, Spotify, and all these streaming platforms. Really, really appreciate your support. We are growing, and I'm really super excited. And I'm on YouTube as well. Actually, yes, I am on YouTube. If you go to letsbreakthesilence.com and go to the About section, scroll down, and you will find me on YouTube. So you can connect with me on YouTube as well. And this recording will be uploaded on YouTube later today. So that's what my plan is for today. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Blessings and love to all of you. Alli, just stay on for a minute after we end.
Sure.
And we are going